My name is Stephanie. The moment I stared at the faces on the laptop screen, a cold rage coursed through me. There they were, my father, Henry, looking haggard, my stepmother, Violet, wringing her hands, and in the back, Aunt Eloise, her arms crossed, feigning composure. I took a deep breath and held the laptop up, angling the camera towards the NICU window. "Look at him," I said, my voice icy. "This is your grandson, Oliver. He's been fighting for his life for 5 weeks, all alone."
And you believed a lie.
You thought I was crazy instead of picking up the phone and checking on me. My father's face crumpled, and Violet began to sob. But Aunt Eloise snapped, "Stephanie, you're being hysterical. This is exactly the drama we wanted to avoid. You were unstable, and we were following doctor's orders." I scoffed. "Doctor's orders? Or your orders, Eloise? You never spoke to a doctor, never visited, never called. You were protecting your precious family image, not the family itself. Remember that charity ball? How did it feel knowing Oliver was struggling for breath just miles away while you were on stage, soaking up the applause?" As I spoke, I saw the shock and realization dawn on my father's face. Eloise's face turned pale with rage and fear, and for the first time, she was silenced. I ended the call, finally finding a semblance of peace. Let me take you back. I come from an old, money family in New York. Our family is known for its philanthropy, but it's more about the show than the actual help. The family foundation, run by Aunt Eloise, prefers to write big checks rather than get involved in the nitty-gritty of social issues. I'm married to David, a graphic designer. He's kind-hearted and supportive, but in the eyes of my family, he's not as prestigious as they'd like. My career as a community organizer, working with the homeless and drug addicts, is a constant source of embarrassment for them. "Stephanie is too emotional," Aunt Eloise would say at family gatherings, which was code for not stable and a disappointment. David and I tried for years to have a child. We endured 2 heartbreaking miscarriages. Each time, the family's response was cold and clinical. They treated it like a private matter to be hidden, as if my grief was an inconvenience. When I announced I was pregnant with Oliver, Aunt Eloise gave me a tight, lipped smile and said, "Let's hope you can keep it together this time, dear." Oliver was born prematurely at 27 weeks via an emergency C-section. The silence from my family after his birth was deafening. I was alone in the hospital pumping room at 2 a.m. The air filled with the smell of antiseptic and stale coffee. I texted the family group chat, "Oliver is having a tough night. Please pray for him." Minutes later, I received a photo from Aunt Eloise at a charity event, captioning it as representing the family's strength. It was a clear message. I was showing weakness, and I needed to get my act together. For 5 agonizing weeks, I was in total isolation. I sent updates about Oliver's progress to the group chat, but the responses were either a single thumbs up emoji from my father or complete silence from Violet. David was my rock, but he had to go back to work to keep our insurance. One day, while scrolling through social media, I saw a picture of my family at a fancy dinner, laughing and having a great time. It felt like a punch in the gut. They were living their perfect lives as if I and Oliver didn't exist. At the end of the 5th week, Oliver was stable, but I was exhausted. I was in the hospital cafeteria when my phone exploded with missed calls and texts from my brother, Lucas, a journalist. He told me that Aunt Grace, my mother's other sister who was always sidelined by Eloise, had a massive stroke. And my father was hurt that I wasn't there. I lost it. I told Lucas that no one in the family had been there for me or Oliver in 5 weeks. Lucas was shocked and said that Aunt Eloise had told them she was coordinating meals for me, visiting me, and that I didn't want any visitors because I was overwhelmed. Lucas came to the NICU the next day. When he saw Oliver, his skepticism melted away. He then went to talk to my father and discovered the truth. Aunt Eloise had told my father that I was suffering from severe postpartum psychosis, and the doctors had advised a total visitor ban for my mental stability. It was a malicious lie, a calculated move to maintain the family's perfect image and her power within the family. I decided to confront them all. After the call, the next morning, my father and stepmother were waiting outside the NICU. They looked broken. "We came to meet our grandson," my father said, his voice thick with shame. It wasn't a fix, but it was a start. After 10 long weeks, Oliver came home. A week later, Aunt Eloise showed up at our apartment intercom, offering a donation for Oliver's trust fund. I firmly told her, "We don't need your money. You're not welcome here. My family is inside this house." She buzzed repeatedly before finally leaving. At Oliver's first birthday party, our small apartment was filled with love. Lucas was there holding Oliver like a prize. Aunt Grace, now recovered, was telling stories. My NICU mom friends, who had become like sisters to me, were there with their own babies. My father and stepmother were present, quiet, and just being part of the celebration. I've learned that family isn't defined by blood. It's a title that has to be earned through love, respect, and action. Walking away from toxic family members is an act of self-preservation, and I'm determined to build a new family around love and support.